Howdy, y'all.
Welcome to Nerd Escape.
I wasn't ready. We'll keep that on there.
Yeah. Are you
Howdy,
ready?
y'all. Yes.
Welcome to Nerd Escape,
The comic book podcast.
where we talk about everything underrated and overlooked.
I'm your host, Jublar,
And I'm your host, Cami.
and we have a featured comic book for you. Appreciation.
Yeah.
Been hitting you with the Mini Manga Mania Mondays. It's nice to get back to some features. And it's a recent comic book that's come out.
Very recent.
Yeah, I think in February 2022, this debuted. And it was only 4 issues.
Just 4.
But these 4 issues were 40-page stacks. So usually a comic book's 20 pages. And I am talking about the Simon Spurrier and Matias Bergara's Step by Bloody Step. Their light's reflecting off too much. But it's only 4 issues. I have the special Ian Bertram cover.
Because everyone knows we love Ian.
Ooh, Ian. It's like, we can't go on tangents. They mention Ian Bertram or Tradmore on this podcast.
Yeah.
Like,
People are like, can they please stop talking about them?
But, yeah, Step by Bloody Step. Just to jump right into this, get it going. Image comic book. February 2022 debut. August 24th, for all you out there, you get the complete volume, 160 pages of silent story. Mm-hmm. And we'll get into why the silent story. But you have to special order this, because apparently they're only going to make what they order and maybe a couple surplus, and that's it.
Oh my gosh.
It's going to be pretty rare, because the Ian Bertram cover,
Yeah.
like, you can only get 2 per customer for this one. And I just got
I didn't know that.
I got it preserved. And it's kind of crazy. We'll show the rolling, but you can see it's kind of, he made the model of the giant in this, and with a little bird at the top. And I was like, that's a little bird. You kind of just, they were like, it's fine. Ian Bertram can do it.
It's the same concept,
Yeah.
technically.
But in this comic book, just to sum it up without getting the story away too much, there's no dialogue. There's just a girl awakens from her sleep with no memory or language, and a giant in a suit of armor is just there. Mm-hmm. And they go on a kind of fantasy adventure.
Yeah.
But I'll talk about the creators here, because I like to give where credit's due. Simon Spurrier has been mentioned on this podcast before, in our very first episode.
Very first one.
It's not on YouTube, so maybe one day we'll do a YouTube special for it, traversing back to that. God Shaper. Remember that little story? God Shaper by Simon Spurrier. Art by Jonas Goonface.
We love that guy.
That dude's a fighting advocate, getting like going to court for his, like, fighting against pipelines and protesting.
He's doing some good work.
He's the man. And I wished there was more and more art of Jonas Goonface. Look at us going to tangents again, but god damn it, Jonas Goonface. Beautiful human being. One day I want to ask you to do a logo for us, and it'd be an honor if you did. Anyways, moving on. God Shaper's great. It's our first episode.
Really
Go check out our first episode on Spotify. But the writers, Simon Spurrier, he's a British comic book writer. Previously worked as a cook, a bookseller, and art director for the BBC.
Oh, okay, cool.
He's done X-Men titles. He's written for Hellblazer, which is the John Constantine comic book. The Spire. He's even done Dark Crystal spin-offs of comic books. Coda, which is another Simon Spurrier and Matias Bergara comic book that it's amazing. We're going to put that on here one day. And The Dreamer, and of course, God Shaper. He's worked for Marvel, DC, Image, Boom. And you can find him at Simon Spurrier on IG, at S-I Spurrier on IG and Twitter. Go check out it's great stuff. Great writer, and his comic books are always fire. The artist, Matias Bergara, comic book artist, you can find him at Mati, M-A-T-I, Bergara, on IG and Twitter. Born and raised in Montevideo, Uruguay. And he's also a video game artist as well. And he's well known for Coda. He was Eisner Award nominated for his art in that.
Okay.
And he's done some art in Hellblazer, Scumbag, Cannibals, and Sons of Anarchy spinoffs as well. So he's kind of a fresh artist on the comic book scene. And this comic book represents his art to a T.
It's so good.
Because
it's so good.
Like I said, we'll get into it. There's no dialogue. It's just like push forward story that's told with like the actions from the characters.
Yeah.
And then you have the colors, because that's always important in this as well, and they're very beautiful in this as well. by Matheus Lopes at Matt M-A-T Lopez on IG and Twitter. He is from Sao Paulo, Brazil. So got a very diverse cast. You got a Brit, you got your guy from Uruguay, and you have a Brazilian. But he has mostly worked Step by Bloody Step. This is one of his first big debuts. He's worked on Supergirl. He's worked on Kazar, Lord of the Savage Lands, and he's a colorist for cover arts as well. That here and there and everything like that. So shout out to him.
Nice.
Love creators. And yeah, let's dive into what this story is about. I don't know. This might be a little short, tight episode because there's not a lot of dialogue with this.
So you really to me, the story is very much up to interpretation, but
very true.
Despite there not being dialogue, it was really easy to kind of understand what was happening. It leads you to think, if this were to continue, where would it go? And how, as you're reading it, you're just okay, well, how is this going to pan out? Because again, you don't have dialogue, so you can't have any inkling of what's going on. You've just you can feel the mood of each and every
facial
panel.
Expressions, yeah.
Each and every panel.
And
you just mood.
Yeah. But how it starts off just I don't know, it has a
it's very
thing.
soft.
Yeah.
So how I describe the comic as a whole, I called it a soft harshness. So a lot of the colors and the art are very, very soft and kind of give more of it definitely gives that moody vibe, but it's also very harsh because the story is really intense and it progressively gets more and more intense as you go on, but it starts off really soft and kind of a little sad.
Yeah.
And then you just kind of progress where it kind of gets happy. It's still soft, happy, and then it starts kind of getting a little bit more scary and upsetting, and you're just I'm
and that's
scared.
all with pictures.
Yeah.
And
so
there are dialogue bubbles every now and then, but it's in a language you can't read.
Yeah.
It's a made up language. And I was over here reading it, and I was like, what if I have two of these symbols?
And
Maybe
he
I
was
can decipher it.
I'm sure Reddit has a codex. And I was I doubt it.
I bet they do. Step by Bloody Step probably does. But yeah, the synopsis, I'll read the synopsis on the back of one of these, and it'll pretty much sum up that. But it's definitely sci-fi kind of fantasy, and it's kind of
definitely sci-fi fantasy.
So you'll see, there's 4 sentences. A girl wakes. She has no memory, no name, no language, nothing except a giant. So she legit, seems like she's a baby, coming into this world, and it's snowing everywhere.
Yeah.
And there's just this big giant with
that's
armor
holding her.
And then the perspectives are so good because it's you see the kid in it, and then you see you're in the hand, you're seeing from her eye point of view.
Yeah, from the giants.
And you're just confused, and then the giant's just kind of this motherly, parent character,
the nurturer,
constantly pushing her forward. And the crazy thing, there's this destiny feel to it, and it leaves you to your interpretation too towards the end. Yeah. So basically, if they get off their path, say the girl wants to go, she wants to turn around, she's a little girl, so she's growing up to the story, and you see her getting stubborn, she doesn't want to do this, she wants to go do something else. She'll go to grab a flower she wants, and this wind will pick up, and it'll block her. It'll pick up the snow and make this physical wall of nature that won't let her do something. Yeah. And then I think she wanted to go back, they went across this ocean, this channel, and she wanted to go back in the water, and this big tidal wave wall just raises up. And so there's this invisible force that's keeping forcing them on their path to destiny. Yeah. And I just didn't imagine the writing room with Simon Spurrier and Matias Bergara just being all right, no dialogue, and you have to sit here and just storyboard it all, and just and I wonder if it was here's a word storyboard, and here's a script, and then Matias kind of did his own perspective. Right. Very interesting. I think on the volume they're going to put out on August 24th, it'll probably have some more details of that. Yeah. But along the way, they run into crazy monsters in the woods. Yeah. like some that are bigger than the giant, and the giant is like he's like dwarfed by it, and he's fighting it. They run into villages, and I noticed too that the girl doesn't eat food. Like I think one of the mom tries to give her food, and the giant kind of blocks her away. Like nope, that's not what we do.
I think that she might eat food, but we just don't see. I think the giant is very protective of the little, and that's why.
And you see the giant's face, but that would spoil some stuff.
You do, yeah. So
and it's like a very sad, like beaten, like
you're spoiling it.
Well, no, the face is just like kind of sad, like like it's a rough face where it looks like it's been through some stuff. That's all I'll say.
It's been through life.
But then you run this then they come along like human beings who are having war, like these crazy futuristic warships,
and there's
like,
bots,
like out of the mind of just like, and then you notice there's green orcs like they're having war with.
Yeah,
they look like the orcs from Coda.
Oh.
Yeah. So it's almost I wonder if it's like the same universe, like if he's like in the same world.
That would be cool.
In Coda, it's kind of it's another fantasy, like crazy, like stuff.
Don't they have a strange dialect in Coda too?
I mean, they communicate. Point? It's about a bard who's like traveling a thing, and he has a unicorn that's like his steed is a unicorn that like he's a pretty temper tantrum, like will fuck you up unicorn. Like it's so
he's
good.
A murderous unicorn.
Yeah, he will just chew through people like it's like a war horse, but it's a unicorn.
Yeah, I need to finish that.
Yeah, they're travel, but in Step by Bloody Step, literally they're just step by bloody step, just going through this path, and as you're reading it, you're like, what are they doing? Like, what's happening?
Their end goal?
And they meet the people who are causing war, and it's like a rich douchebag king, like elite guy, and they straight up like kidnap orc queens and the giant seems like he's trying to stay out of it, but then they get like mixed up into it, and sad stuff happens, happy stuff happens, and then like the girl kind of starts fighting with that destiny like wall thing, like that invisible thing, and the ending's kind of trippy. It's kind of interpretation for sure. Like,
this whole entire story is up for interpretation, which is great. So Step by Bloody Step, the girl wakes up with a giant in the snow, and they go on an adventure. The giant fights stuff. Yeah.
The girl's kind of like growing up through adolescence and wondering why you're doing this. No dialogue.
It gives similar vibes like Iron Giant.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But like starting from the beginning, like you have a robot at the very beginning as a child.
Oh man. Oh yeah, but since we're on doing the special one, this is probably going to be a short and sweet one just because the story is it was so easy to talk about and explain.
It's short and sweet. It was a very easy read. Very quick to get because quick.
She doesn't like a lot of dialogue.
I don't like a lot of dialogue again because dialogue you can't.
I love dialogue.
Yeah, he likes dialogue. I do not like dialogue a lot, but it is what it is.
So I was like, you're gonna love this comic book, but it's each issue is 40 pages long, so 40 pages of art.
Yeah,
you're getting, and it was like $5. Usually a comic book was like $3. And so Matias Bergara had to put in support. Simon Spurrier was like, let me write this no dialogue thing, perspective stuff. You change the perspective right here. And Matias is just like, 40 pages,
it would
man.
Be,
40 pages.
It would be very curious if I think it's Mateus, not...
Mateus.
I think... but what if he came up with the idea...
What if he had the concept art already for it?
Yeah, concept art, and then Simon wrote. That would be cool. It'd be cool either way.
It is true. But so they're doing a special feature. Not a special feature, but
it's our normal
concept. Nerd Escape, comic book appreciations. We read stuff that we love. And we gotta put it out to the people. We appreciate it. We usually do Q&As. I'm always like reflecting when we bring up the Q&As because when we do the Mini Manga Mania Mondays, we don't do Q&As too much.
No.
But this is the typical questions. You know them, you love them. So answer in the comments if you read this. What was your favorite thing? I gotta ask Cami. What was your favorite thing about Step by Bloody Step?
no dialogue. It was great. Again, and I think it comes from like me being in school and like being in writing class, like senior year, junior year, and your teachers are asking you about Shakespeare and all these other. They're just like, well, what was Shakespeare trying to say? And so they're always saying, well, it's always up for interpretation. So give us what you're interpreting. And I'm always like, interpreting a different way than everyone else.
I thought you were going to say interpret these nuts or something.
No, I would never. And I was always wrong. And the teachers were always just like, nope, he's trying to say this and this and that. I'm just like, wasn't it up for interpretation?
You had the kids in English class who were like, what if the car isn't a car? And you're like, you're thinking too deep, man.
Thankfully, I didn't have, like, all the kids in my class, they were really smart, but I'm thankful they weren't, like,
not my class. Shout out
up someone's
Texas.
butt. But for me, I like to read as if I'm in, like, fiction. It's pretty, like, you read the story, you read the words, this is what the author's telling you is happening. But when it comes to like certain comic books where there is no dialogue, it's really helpful because I can interpret it how I want to.
It is, yeah. This one is definitely.
I like stories like that.
Some video games in like that. You kind of like stories, period books.
Where's it going to go?
This one's just all with beautiful pictures.
It's
and it's
gorgeous.
Like just the expression on the face, like it's good.
It's
like,
so good.
That's an art in itself when you can
tell a story
without words. And there you go.
To me, that's like one of the coolest stories.
And there's probably, if you know any comic books that do that, I know there was a story. I forgot the artist's name, but he's kind of this like old man with a pompadour, comic book artist. He did a Fury. What's his guy with the eye patch?
Nick Fury?
He did a Nick Fury comic book, and the whole thing, it was him sneaking into a base, and it was all like psychedelic and groovy like art. And I think the last 3 pages had dialogue in it when he finally like snuck and met the guy. And then Marvel Comics didn't want to pay him the full amount because he didn't have any dialogue, but all the artwork was amazing.
Pay him.
And so he like marched into what's his name, old man Marvel comic book guy.
I always forget.
Steve.
I don't know.
What is the cameo guy? I'm sorry. Look, we're assholes.
Terrible.
We're always like, fuck DC and Marvel. You put ads in your comic books, you dickheads. And it's like, we love that guy. I'm still going blank on his name though. But he basically marched in his office. He's like, pay me for this, because he was like one of the first ones to do that. So I appreciate that for sure. So favorite thing was no dialogue.
No dialogue.
Love that. Okay.
That's my favorite thing.
You would think my favorite thing would be the art and the color, which I will give a...
Was it also no dialogue?
No. So art and color is amazing. Stands alone. It really does. Go check it out. But I do love the narrative with the little to no comprehensive dialogue. That's what I wrote. I love the little to no dialogue with the no comprehensible dialogue, because there is dialogue bubbles, but it's like a new language they made up. It's like symbols and stuff. And I'm over there like, maybe there's a codex on Reddit. We can figure this out and decipher it. Because when I first read it, it was really good. And then when I read it for the second time to kind of give a more review, it was just like awe. Like I was in awe, and I see why sometimes in the beginning they had to like show you something like that a character does, an action they do, or they get attacked by something and they react this way. They do that to foreshadow to the next like chapter. Like there was something at the end that happened. And then when I reread it, and I was like, oh, that's why that person had that certain trait or that certain power, because in the very first issue, this incident happened where they were like attacked and had to like react, and then later on they kind of used it to their advantage. So they're foreshadowing in a way. It's like with some good movies. I think when I first watched the movie Nope, it was not Nope. Sorry, when I first watched the movie Get Out.
Okay.
Watching Nope this weekend. Oh, I can't wait. It's gonna be great. But I remember in Get Out, there was all these things like, why is he pointing that out? And it's like, and then everything at the end came full tier, like
oh yeah,
with like seeing
you had to
deer.
watch it twice because you had missed so much.
I didn't watch it. I didn't watch Get Out for like maybe like 3 years after it came out, probably. Then I bought it on Blu-ray and I was like, yeah, check it out. And then I was like, oh my god.
Well, I had seen it before.
Amazing storytelling. Yeah, no, it's good.
And then we watched it again together.
It's this thing has Jordan Peele type of foreshadowing and storytelling with no dialogue. It's good. I can't believe I wrote that as well. but everything has to be done with action. Taking place is set up for foreshadowing the character's traits. It's a great read with no dialogue, and the art's great, and they have to do so much with the art to foreshadow and do just typical things that you do in literature, in a way. It's like that's what you have to do. But yeah, it's great question. Same answer. I was surprised. Yeah, the artwork is great. It's amazing.
It's
Matias
really,
Bergara.
really good.
It's amazing. He makes his own world in there. I bet he had the concept art for it, and then Simon Spurrier is like probably checking out his sketchbook and was like, all right. Favorite character? Not much to choose from here.
I don't have a favorite character.
You never have a favorite character.
I do. I just haven't had one in recent. So I don't have a favorite character because they're.
He's like, there's no dialogue.
No, I think there was good like character building, but it was a really slow story at the same time. So I don't know. There wasn't a lot of, I don't know. I didn't have a favorite character. I think this story was really all about plot versus character.
The plot.
Like, yes, your MC is like at the forefront, but I think it was really more plot. So I have no favorite characters.
My favorite character was the invisible force that keeps pushing them on. So if it was like wind, a water wall, snow gust, holding the girl back, is like, was it good? Was it bad? And there's like this whole like destiny, like kind of circle. Like, what's the whole thing with Ouroboros, the snake eating his tail kind of thing?
I don't know.
I think it's Ouroboros. I'm butchering that, but you know the thing with the snake's infinity eating his tail.
Yes, I know.
It kind of has like a summation of that in a way. That was my interpretation of the ending. Well, if you had to interpret like just a few words of the ending for yourself, what do you think like the like spiritual or overall message for this was?
I think it kind of reflects. To me, it's kind of dystopian and kind of reflects how, like, Earth currently, there's a lot of turmoil. There's a lot of things going on. You have the elite being the elite. And it's just kind of really kind of shining a light on what's really going on. That's kind of like it's a very loose interpretation, but it kind of gives vibes.
Maybe it's like
it's dystopian. You've got these two characters who are trying to survive and trying to get somewhere. They run into the elite. The elite are being how they be. So yeah, that's kind of how I saw it.
Oh, maybe there'll be some folklore details that come out in the volume. I need to
hopefully.
Actually, the deadline for preserving one already passed, and I will see if the comic book got some extra ones, because the comic books are gonna buy some too. They're gonna buy some. I'm sure the comic book's gonna buy. They're gonna be limited. They're gonna be very limited. I don't know if they're ever gonna do a reprint. So go talk to your local comic book store. See if Step by Bloody Step. It's beautiful. And Ian Bertram did covers. There's other great artists that did different covers, only with 4 issues, but 40 pages. That's in actuality that's 8 that you're getting. But yeah, it's just all art, silent play, like kind
silent
of a dramatic thing coming at you. But yeah, that's it. Anything else?
This would be a really cool like short film.
It really would. Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if this hit a film thing faster. Like, yeah, it would be a short
cool
film,
like Love, Death, Robots.
Yes, yeah, that is true. That would be great. So on that, Step by Bloody Step.
Please go read it.
Go read it. Simon Spurrier.
Go look at it.
Matias Bergara. Writing no dialogue. We love for that. But the perspective of the writing and the setting up, and I'm very curious to see how much was give and take with them. And Bergara's art just stands alone,
so good.
Tells a story with it, literally. Step of Bloody Step, August 24th, the volume comes out. Call your comic book store, preserve it, it's just a great story that we want to
Reserve
share with
it.
you. It's awesome. So the edibles hitting. If you're listening on Spotify, leave a star review. Hopefully 5 stars.
Yeah, 5 stars, because you said leave a star, and I'm like, don't
not
do that.
a star, 5 stars. And if you're on YouTube, we do the panels. Go check us out on YouTube. We show the artwork on there to give you a glimpse of what we're seeing here, to intrigue your mind even more. Please subscribe. Please like, comment. We love comments. We want to hear from you. If you got any recommendations, hell, we'll do that. And until then, this is Nerd Escape,
The comic book podcast.
where we talk about everything underrated and overlooked.
I'm your host, Cami.
And I'm your host, Jublar.
We will see you in the Lex and De-Stress, my guys.
Yes.
My.
Oh yeah, that was a whole episode last time. It was just Lex and
Yeah,
De-Stress.
and we cut it short, made it quick.
We're bringing you back the features.
Wow.
All right, people. Thank you for listening.
Yeah,
Nerd Escape out.
we love you.
That's us leaving.
We've left the building now.
We're still here.